They don't care about what they have on pricing. They care about how many ounces they own. Now, here's how it works. Like when you think about the Federal Reserve Bank, one of the questions I asked was, okay, well, how do they get the gold? How did they get the gold in the first place? This goes all the way back to 1933 when gold was confiscated. None of us were alive back then. You can go read about it in history books, but in 1933, 33 or 34, gold was confiscated, meaning the government issued an order saying, hey, it's illegal for you to own gold. As a US citizen, you cannot own gold. If you own gold, I believe it was a $10,000 fine and up to 10 years in prison or both if you were caught owning gold. And so what people did is they went to a member bank of the Federal Reserve Bank. So if you go to JP Morgan or you go to Chase, you go to whatever bank it would be, they're members of the Federal Reserve Bank. They're shareholders in the Federal Reserve Bank. People would give their gold to the bank, get dollars back in return on a fixed statutory price. And then the banks, they would send the gold to the Fed. They would send it to the Federal Reserve Bank. Now, the Federal Reserve Bank owns all this gold. Now, here's the problem. The dollars that all these people traded their gold for are not real, right? Like they traded all their food for forks. Think about that. Like you own like a farm and you're like, man, I legally have to trade all of my crops for silverware. I won't have any food left to eat, but I'll have a lot of silverware. So if I ever come across food, I have plenty of silverware, right? But that's what was happening. And so basically the Federal Reserve Bank, step number one is they create currency. If you don't know already, they print money out of thin air. They literally, there's a video on my YouTube channel. If you type in, I don't even remember the guy's name, the Federal Reserve Bank chairman. Who can help me out with the dude's name? Jay something, right? If you type in the Federal Reserve Bank, Jerry Fetta, Federal Reserve Bank on my YouTube channel, you'll see that they basically, the chairman of the Fed says, hey, we literally just print in digits on a screen and create currency. Jerome Powell, that's our boy, right? Not even worth remembering. Jerome Powell, just a complete scumbag. So Jerome Powell, there's a video of him on 60 Minutes during the COVID crisis. And they ask him, so you print more currency? And he goes, well, we don't really print it as much as we just type it in on a screen. They just type digits in on a screen and boom, all of a sudden there's currency. So they create currency. They use the currency. The Federal Reserve Bank use currency to buy gold from the private sector. When they are buying gold, they are buying it from the private sector. They are buying it from you and me, and they are buying it from the average person, and they're buying it from, manufacturers and dealers and wholesalers and banks. They're not just buying it. They're taking it out of the marketplace, right? It's like recalling. Who's ever had a vehicle that got recalled, right? They're recalling all of the gold, and they continually do this today. They use the currency that they've created to buy gold from the private sector. Now, here's the kicker. When the Federal Reserve Bank buys the gold and they get possession of it, they don't just keep it. They collateralize it with the United States Treasury, right? Meaning they send it for storage to the United States Treasury. It's like a depository. If you're a client of mine, you know exactly what a depository is. You know exactly what it means to collateralize your gold. So the Fed buys the gold with the currency. They then take the gold, they store it with the Treasury. Now, when this happens, the Federal Reserve Bank is depositing the gold ounces with the Treasury. The Treasury is issuing gold stock at a rate of $42.22 per ounce of gold that's there, right? So they're issuing gold stock, and then that gold stock serves as a redemption coupon. So if the Fed ever wants their gold back, they just go to the Treasury and say, hey, I want to exchange my gold stock and get my ounces back, right? So they can do that. They can get the ounces back. So here's the thing that's crazy. If you look at the step 3, both the Fed and the Treasury count the gold as an asset on their balance sheet. Now, this is the part that threw me off so badly because it's fraud, right? If I buy gold, right? Let's say I buy gold and I send it to a storage facility, and the storage facility is custodying the gold for me. They're keeping it for good safekeeping so that when I need it, they can give it back to me. That's not their asset, right? So for them to count that on their balance sheet is actually fraud because it's not theirs, it's mine, right? So The Fed, that is their gold. That's why they have a redemption coupon so they can go back and get it. Just like if I send my gold to a depository storage unit, they're going to give me an account number and I'm going to go to say at any time, hey guys, I want to redeem my gold. Here's my account number. Here's my certificate. Send the gold back to me. That's how this works, right? But they both count it as an asset on their balance sheet. Now, here's the thing is the Treasury counts it as an asset on their balance sheet, but they also have a new liability. Why? Because they have gold stock that basically secures the gold that they have. So they have an asset on their books in the gold, which shouldn't be counted as an asset, but it is. But they also have a dollar for dollar liability on the gold stock or the redemption coupon that the Federal Reserve holds. It's no different than you having a house. Let's say you get a mortgage from a bank and your loan to value ratio is 100%, right? Sure, you have an asset, you have a house, but you also have a mortgage for 100% of the value of the house. So you have zero, right? But the Fed, the Treasury, they don't own the gold. They're counting an asset that's not theirs and also having a liability to offset it. So when you look at this, and it's so confusing, I had a client email me, he's like, so who owns the gold? The Fed does. The Federal Reserve Bank owns the gold. The Treasury owns zero of it. They're holding it. They're in custody position, but there's a redemption certificate. There's gold stock against 100% of their position. So at any time, the Fed can say, give us our gold back, Treasury, and the Treasury has to, which means the United States government owns no gold. Who does? The Federal Reserve Bank. Okay. So then they use these gold stock certificates, they being the Federal Reserve Bank. They now have a gold stock certificate, which is basically an IOU from the Fed. Big surprise. That's what they get from the Treasury all the time. IOUs are US Treasuries in debt. That's how our currency gets created. But the Federal Reserve Bank uses this gold stock to then back and issue more currency. Why would they back and issue more currency? So they can go buy more gold. They repeat step number one. If you're wondering, what does Wealth Dynamics do? How can we actually help you? Number one, if you haven't gotten a copy of my book, Blueprint to Financial Freedom, grab one now. You can get that down in the comments in the video. You can get the link for that. Number two, we do a free course on Fridays on personal finance. Okay, you can also get the link for the description there too. And then finally, if you have a desire to start getting help walking through these different phases toward financial freedom, book a call with my team. Go to our website, set up a call. We're able to help out and answer questions. That's how we can help you. Thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure you turn notifications on, and I will talk to you guys on the next video.